This is serious. And I need to address it now by ref. We're going in. Interestingly enough, I do not know what this is about. Right? Usually I'm like on Twitter and I see it, but like for the most part, yeah, I missed this one. I missed this one. So there's that. I missed this one. So yeah, we're gonna go in. Also, please consider liking and subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And yeah, we will be looking at this. I wonder what this is about. No idea, no clue. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, no stream today because I'm buying video games for stream. Yep, we are streaming daily every single day. Unless when I have something to do on the weekends, then it sucks because that usually kills the reaction streams, but whatever. We're going in.
Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So in this video I'm going to be talking about something pretty serious, a situation I really didn't want to deal with, but it's been forced upon me routinely by this VTuber, Vex. Vex is someone who has been routinely harassing and slandering me and
In general, she's been harassing and slandering everyone that doesn't agree with her. And I mean everyone without stop. It's kind of crazy.
my community, while also dragging in a company that I used to work with. And recently they decided in this tweet that they're no longer going to talk about people like myself. Well, unfortunately for Vex, you don't get to decide when the conversation ends, especially when you're continuously bringing up my name and slandering me and spreading lies involving the company I used to work with, and that's what we're talking about today. This is the VTuber Vex. We have talked about her before. She is someone who is quite unhinged. She is someone who has recently claimed in the last week that she has never done anything to me, and also that she has never gloated that I lost my Advanced GG sponsorship, both of which are massive lies, which is very ironic and hypocritical coming from someone who only a few days ago said spreading
Believing rumors and spreading false information makes you a shittier person, by the way. Yeah, but that doesn't apply to her because she's on the quote-unquote good side of history. So there's that.
false information makes you a bad person. Now, of course, they are slandering me. You can see in multiple posts calling me a predator, and then doubling down on the fact even when they're asked for proof, of course they can't provide proof, and instead of moving on from this 2 weeks ago, she has continued to crash out and slander me in various replies on Twitter over the past.
Of course, I don't lie and I didn't call anyone. She's lying. And she's lying without stopping. She's lying without. Anyway, that's rather interesting. That's very interesting.
Past couple of days. I almost brushed off the previous incident, but of course, she can't help herself. She has continued to slander me and other Twitter users as well, and this has gone way too far. Now, I can't defend myself on Twitter because she's doing all of this behind a block. And worse yet, she's dragging in Advanced GG, a company I used to work for. I was terminated by them earlier this year, and she is bringing them in as a partner with that company, a current one, while spreading lies about what happened earlier this.
It's funny how people can still consistently shit on them, right? Like after this happened, initially their reach dropped like crazy on Twitter.
Year with me and the company, and I have
They even blocked me.
expressed my immense disappointment with what happened with Advanced. But I have made my intent very clear. I do not want to talk about Advanced anymore, but unfortunately, one of their biggest, if not their biggest partner, routinely slanders me and keeps bringing up my name alongside Advanced while spreading lies, making me want to defend myself. I think that is a very reasonable thing to want to do when someone's lying about your name and an experience you had with a company and what she was doing during the time of that termination. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, I have expressed my immense disappointment with Advance, but instead of focusing on the negativity right now, let's focus on a positive because we have other sponsors like Market, who's had my back from day one. For many years, they have been sponsoring me and representing this channel and been doing an amazing job. I've had the pleasure of meeting some of their employees in real life. They are great people and they've made it very clear they have my back. So I think it's very, very good to promote a company like Ooh Market. And this is my latest merch drop. It just launched about a week ago. It's my birthday merch drop here. You can see all the related merch, including the Acid Wash t-shirt, which is the only fundraiser component of this entire campaign. And guess what? It's fully funded, expected from my community that is so supportive, but it is fully funded, and you can see the design right here. Great stuff. The art is always so on point with Ooh Market, and here's the hoodie. You can see the back here as well as the front. And also on top of that, we have a hat. You can see that for yourself. On top of that, we have this mouse pad, which is always a big hit with people in my community. You can see the design right here. Very nice stuff. On top of that, we have some jet tags as well, which is a little...
I still wouldn't know what I would do for merch. It's rather interesting, right? I still don't know. Like, even if I got... I will probably get to that point, but even if I got to that point, I wonder how I would even do that.
More of an affordable option if you're interested in that. And finally, we have a standee as well, if that is...
Especially as a European, because they made shipping essentially not possible at all. It's very interesting.
Something you are interested in. I will put a link to this campaign in the pinned comment. Thank you guys so much for the support on this campaign. It means a lot. And it also means supporting a really good company that has defended this channel and been there from the jump. And I just want to show my appreciation for them. And when you support this campaign, you're not just supporting me, but you're also supporting a very good company with Ooh Market as well. But let's return.
The thing is, like, ultimately, this was the case. See, ultimately, this was the case with, what do you say? Ultimately, this was the case with, Advanced as well, right? Until it wasn't, because of a bunch of, essentially, nobodies crashed out.
To the content. So we're talking about Vex, right? And I have highlighted her very unhinged behavior from this year alone, where she is routinely making very aggressive threats in replies to people, but it's okay according to her own standards because they're memes and pictures, not her own direct words, so therefore it makes it okay to tell people that she's going to fold them with their clothes still on and that she's excited for people to end up in their grave or to go missing and stuff like that. And also, she is not too fond of white people, saying you can't be racist against white people. And again, very bigoted.
Very weird to be a self-hating white person. Very interesting. A bit of a weirdo. Definitely a weirdo.
Take from me, but I think it's very wrong to judge people differently and to be abusive towards them simply because of the color of their skin. You shouldn't be okay with any of that happening.
Racism. That is racism. Yes, that is racism.
Happening regardless of skin color, right? We don't make exceptions for that. That seems a bit backwards to me. But her latest hit here on Twitter is something I talked about, where she made this post saying, the only men who get offended when someone says all men are the men we're talking about, by the way. Now, of course, this stirred a lot of conversation, and it was something that I covered in this video right here. And as you can see, the reception...
Yep, she got her ass beat for it, by the way, for this video, right? For this post, right? Right, she got her ass beat for it on Twitter. We reacted to that.
Makes it very clear people agree with what I was talking about in the video. 6,400 likes versus 25 dislikes. I think the opinion of the masses here is unanimous, okay? They think this was a very bad tweet. But not only was it a bad tweet, it was hypocritical. Because looking at her own history, she has routinely trashed on men. That is a very fair point to make. In the video, all I did was really show her public tweets and show that there's hypocrisy existing, not only with this bad initial tweet that we're talking about, but it's also hypocritical coming from her. And this sort of behavior, this coverage where I'm showing someone's public tweet and pointing out their hypocrisy is something that Advance used to celebrate and even used to promote my merch, saying I'm loud, fearless, and unapologetically real. But apparently some people don't feel the same way. In response to my video, Vex says this, oh god, Rev made another video about me over a nuanced tweet that wasn't in any...
Nothing was nuanced. Nothing. Zero. Nothing was nuanced. You made a misandrous tweet, and that's it. No, saying all men, and then just saying, oh, but it's just the men that, that react to this. You're part of the problem. If you feel like I'm talking to you, then you're part of the problem. I find that funny. All Muslims. Which, by the way, does apply here, because, fun fact, you don't see, Christian, terror attacks, right? You don't see that. Not all, it's right, the same talking point. Not all Muslims, but always a Muslim. You could apply that very much here. But then she would call you racist, Islamophobic, bigoted. Yet I use her exact same logic. Anyway, it's always the same. If you twist their logic against them, if they turn their logic against them, then they don't particularly like that. Nothing about this post was nuanced. Nothing. If she said, I hate some men. Fair. Fair. You know? Fair. Not all men are good people. Not all women are good people. Right? Fair. But it's always all men. And when it's all men, then we gotta go at, not at the what you feel like. How do you say this? We gotta go on the information floor, right? Not the feel, what I feel like, what I meant floor, but the information floor. And the pure information you can take from an all men tweet is that you hate all men. Not just some, all. That is of the pure information perspective. What you actually meant doesn't matter.
Anyway, serious. Rent must be due. So in the video, I asked Vex, if I am out of line, if I'm saying anything that you disagree with, please clarify. Like, I'm open to discussion. If you have an issue with what I'm saying, my public coverage of your public tweets, make it clear what your issue is. But instead, she does this, and it's very predictable. There's no counter argument, and also there is a whole lot of contradiction, even in this tweet, saying it's a nuanced tweet while on the same hand saying it wasn't serious. So which one is it? Is it a nuanced post about men, or is it just a joke? I don't understand. I mean, this is unfortunately what she does, and if you
yeah, there's two statements are excluding each other, right? They're not, they cannot exist at the same time, because if it's nuanced, then then you mean it, right? If it's nuanced, then you mean it. If it's not that serious, it can't be nuanced. Doesn't make sense.
Look through her replies, she's been making everyone know it's a nuanced take. It's a nuanced take, but it's also a joke at the same time. And of course, she also adds in, rent must be due, which is something she does as well. She likes to poor shame people, which I can only say is projection based on the fact, if you scroll through her account, there's almost daily posts asking for money. Or there's routine emergency streams or emergency funds for whatever she needs, X, Y, or Z. But on top of that, only a few days ago, she was asking for $500, and don't we all need $500? But someone replies saying, get a job, and she says, I have several. This was a joke, you effing Fruit Loop. Oh, it's just a joke, yeah. Of course, if you scroll through her account again,
yeah, there's tons of times where she is literally begging for money. While at the same time, that's very interesting, right? While she at the same time spends money for luxury that she, considering how much she begs for it, should not be able to have. Right? It's interesting. She poor shames people, but at the same time, she buys and spends money and then cries about that she needs more money anyway.
You see this behavior, it's very routine, so heaven forbid someone sees you asking for money and thinks it's legitimate when you are legitimately asking for money on a very routine basis. But of course, being mad about me really seems to throw people into a tither where it's not enough to just be mad at me. They have to start doing what many do, and that is slandering me. So right after my video, Vex decided to reply to this user saying directly, by name, Rev is garbage and a pedo, bro. And then, when someone asked basically for proof, she reiterates that I'm a predator. This is slander. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is clearly slander, and it's not a vague joke. It's not, cryptic. It is directly naming me and then making this accusation, by the way. And then she has the audacity, not even 2 weeks later, to say that she never did any.
Eventually, one of these people, right? Eventually, it'll just happen, right? Eventually, it'll happen, right? Where some of these people oversteps a boundary, calls someone that isn't a PDF. That person gets killed later, but because somebody told them that this person was a PDF, and then we're gonna have serious problems. Eventually, this will happen, right? Because essentially, if you say something like that, you're putting a target on somebody's back. You're essentially giving essentially somebody a target on their back to get them killed. That is what's realistically worst case scenario that could happen. I don't think these people realized. Also, we're gonna be at a point where this word is just so overused that actual ones will just slip right through. Because everyone is one at this point, right? Everyone. You don't agree with me, you are one. Doesn't mean you actually commit horrific things. I just don't agree with you, so you are one. What are we doing? I feel like this is one of the words that should not lose its actual meaning. Because, right, we had a point where, like, you can throw any buzzword at people and they're like, okay, and so? Wait until this word is so normalized that people are like, okay, and yes, sir. What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? You see where I'm going with this? You're gonna normalize this term being an insult instead of a horrific crime. And then we have a problem. Because then eventually, actual ones will just fucking slip through. And guess whose fault that is? People like Vex.
Anything to me, and that I attacked her over something she had nothing to do with. And of course, she is referring to what happened with Advanced GG earlier this year around January, where I was terminated from this company that I worked with for nearly 4 years, largely because of this post right here. Like it, don't like it, I don't really care. I don't think this was a reason to get me terminated from a company. That's my opinion. And for a Rev tweets, this is milquetoast. This is the most lukewarm response ever, where I'm just mocking someone for doing a post about F-Ice. But of course, I was terminated. They made this announcement.
Well, then again, these people also went to Offkai, which is literally now showing can show corn to minors without anybody stopping them. It's very interesting.
About a week later, I stayed silent. I didn't mention anything during this time, but that was ultimately their decision, and I've expressed my disappointment with that, but that's it, right? But of course, Vex can't stop lying. Just a week ago, saying that she never gloated that I lost the sponsorship, that she never gloated whatsoever. And of course, blatant lie. This was her initial reaction. Does this look like gloating to you, ladies and gentlemen? He's gone. F yeah. Those are my gamers directly responding to the post reporting that I've been terminated. Then she added on this post saying, I will block you if you defend Rev or my wife Straub, you absolute effing bootlicking weirdos, F-Ice and absolutely F-you. Then she added on another post saying F-Ice, F-Rev, and F-you if you defend either one. Get back on your knees where you belong and keep licking. Maybe they'll praise you eventually because God knows your parents didn't. Which, of course, these sort of weird personal insults is nothing really too unfamiliar with her, because right around that same time, she made this all-time classic saying F you, F-Ice, F your God, F your mother for birthing you, F your father for not dumping you in a sock. Your mom should have used an effing coat hanger, you effing troglodyte. F off and go beat your D to your sister. I mean, just like, who
First of all, that's very weird. Whatever fetish you have. Well, that actually could explain what's on her adult content website. Anyway, um, regardless. Yep, that is a very interesting post. Very interesting. For sure.
thinks of these things? Like, absolutely heinous, but some of those posts have been deleted, and it's because, well, the request of some of her sponsors.
Advanced. Advanced, but it doesn't matter. We know. We know the way how advanced like acts now. So there's that.
Who those sponsors are, I'm not sure, but I wonder how they would feel about this situation happening with me where I am being directly slandered routinely by this individual. Not even acknowledging the other heinous stuff she routinely posts, but, anyways. She has the audacity, after all of this, to say she never did a thing to me. And then says I attacked her over something she had nothing to do with. Now, of course, she's being disingenuous. What happened is, after I was terminated, the first thing I saw when I refreshed my page to see that it was gone, I got this right here. And who's in the picture? It's Vex. I found it very ironic that that is the first thing I saw on my page. So, in my opinion, I was pointing out the double standards. Are they going to have the same sort of mentality when it comes to their current talents? And I pointed out the tweets where she was saying unhinged things and celebrating me being terminated. That was the point. I do not believe that Vex had anything to do with my termination. And I think deep down she knows that, but I was bringing up her as a standard to apply their own rules to. Okay, I think anybody looking at this objectively understands what I was doing here. And this was after she had been routinely posting about me, my wife, my community, celebrating our termination, and also saying all these other unhinged things as well. And, well, that's just kind of who she.
Yep. Yep. That is very. The thing is with these people, right? I'm just like tired, fatigued, right? I see them and I'm like, okay, well, don't really care anymore, right? Throw your insults. It doesn't matter to me, right? Like all these, like, right? If she throws around buzzwords, just like shrug and go, like, right? The best answer to those people is yes, and. Of course, if he throws PDF at you, well, you can't really pull that. But everything else, right? When it comes to these people, you can just go yes and. They have no way to counter this. Zero. It's like absolute magic, right? They're just like brains are fried. They don't know how to respond. It's just absolutely over once you throw that as a counter. They're like, oh no, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do?
She is, at this point, very disingenuous and slanderous, but it doesn't stop with me. Okay, so this user pointed out that on the one hand, she said she never did anything to me, and then a week later, or a week earlier, called me garbage and a predator. And this user, unfortunately, has faced the wrath of Vex as well, and the wrath of Vex is just getting randomly slandered, where she says directly that this person admitted to being a predator and called him a predator in multiple tweets, and also in the same thing, once again, calling me a lowlife and reactionary loser and yada yada yada. But Vex is slandering this random user over misinformation, where you can see clearly what happened here, where one user right here edited this guy's tweet to say this, but in reality, this is the actual tweets, which ironically is asking for evidence that they're this heinous thing they're being accused of, and people couldn't find it, so instead they edited his tweets. It's basically like we're seeing with Vex here, right? If you ask for proof, she has none, so she's resorting to just blatant slander. And on top of that, you can see, again, people pointing this out to her, literally telling her this is not real, and she responds by saying, he's a lolicon pedophile. I don't care what you think of me. I know what I said. I meant what I said.
They're not. I owned what I said. Well, apparently not, it seems. Apparently not. So here's my take. while I don't get it, right? I don't understand. I don't understand the appeal, right? But I don't really care if you're a lolicon. Like, I sincerely couldn't care less, right? It's like, wake me up when a child is a real child, right? An actual human child is affected. But other than that, this to me is fiction. I kind of don't give a shit. And yeah, whatever you like, I don't care, bro. So like, I think this is the healthy approach, in my opinion, is right. You don't like something, you don't engage with it. But these people, right, they would rather, right, be miserable because they're engaged with something they don't like. But that, right, that's just how it is, right? It's also funny, right? She's a VTuber. She's in a space that was literally built by VTubers that are lolicons. Some of the most, like, the biggest ones, right? So I'm like, I don't quite get it. Aren't you technically spreading that by being a VTuber? Because other people might find it interesting, check out other VTubers, and then they check out a lolicon VTuber, and that you know, they're essentially what you think they're consuming illegal material, technically, right? There's like the anti-I brigade using Twitter. It's the same. It's practically the same thing. Anyway, maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but what do I know?
Owned what I said. Which I'm glad she's making her malicious intent very clear, that she knows exactly what she said and she means it, but also it's unclear who she's even slandering because she's slandering so many people. I'm not sure if it's him or me or both, but of course, she doesn't stop. Then this user shows a screenshot of her slandering me, and she responds by saying, I don't know how to tell you this. I was born in the United States. I'm as white as a effing ghost. Unfortunately, I'm not going anywhere. I'm stuck. You, my friend, need to learn how to not support predators and believe.
So he is one now. You say again, but you say you didn't do anything. This woman just lies, right? Does this woman have like some disorder? Anyway,
Believe everything you read on the internet. So that's very clearly in reference to me. Just another instance of this. Still up. She has deleted some of this stuff, but this one is still up for the moment. And then she adds on again when people confront her for slandering people. She says, I don't lie, and I didn't call anyone a predator who isn't one. And besides,
but she cannot provide any proof of such, right? There's no proof being able to provide it, to be provided. I hope someone sues her one day, right? And takes everything, consider even like her lost shirt, everything, just all the money you can squeeze out of that. Well, she's technically too poor to squeeze money out, but anyway, you get the idea. It's just this woman is a weirdo. That's all I can say. This woman is indeed a weirdo.
implying down here that I should be deplatformed, she is once again very clearly saying that she doesn't lie. Like this is what she believes, right? This is absolutely insane. I am so tired of dealing with individuals like this who feel like it's just fair game to slander someone because they dared to criticize them on the internet. And even more ironic, the fact that on the 30th of July, she said spreading false information makes you a bad person, by the way. And then, after all of this, right, so this has all been happening over the last week, most of this slander, she decides she's done talking about me, right? Besides having me blocked and effectively cutting off that form of communication, she says, you know what, after talking to my friends, I'm not going to talk about people like this anymore. How rich of you to decide the conversation's over after you've been dragging it on. You know, it's one thing to get criticized. I have every right to react to your public tweets and give you fair criticism. You do not have the right to slander me. And also, if you're worried,
I mean, these are public tweets. If somebody wants to call her out, they can. What is she gonna do about it, right? You're all putting this out in public, right? People can see it. Right? People can look at it. People can see it. So there's that, right? People can see that. People can see what you're doing. So I'm just very confused at this point.
about the company you're working for, stop bringing them into this. Stop lying about me and your involvement with that situation. You clearly reacted to what happened. You clearly felt a very negative way towards me, my wife, my community. Stop lying about it. Stop dragging them in. I'm tired of talking about them, and I'm honestly tired of talking about you. But this goes way too far, as it always does, because these people can't take accountability. They can't take criticism. They can only respond with lies.
Well, she's also a woman. She's also a woman, so, you know, that is a masterclass, right? Dodging accountability. Anyway, I said nothing.
And slander, and I've had enough, ladies and gentlemen. But for now, that's going to do for this video. If you enjoyed, please consider giving the video a like, consider subscribing, and turning on notifications.
Yep, that's the end of the video, and yeah, do that on my end and on his end. Anyway, yep, this will probably not be the last time we'll see Vex do something like that. She did it to somebody else on Twitter as well. Anyway, I think this woman should seek therapy, but even for a therapist, I don't know if he can actually, you know, fix that disaster of a person. Regardless, guys, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.